Hey everybody, it is time for a car video. Car video, that's right. And let me tell you, I just saw Alien Romulus in the theater. In other words, I saw a movie, so you didn't have to. Let's talk about this movie. First up, overall, I would say that this film is good. Not great, but good. And for a horror film, it gives you exactly what you want. In fact, I got everything that I wanted in this movie. The film itself is definitely true to the first two Aliens films, the real films. It has the same or similar aesthetic. It does incorporate a lot of the old stuff, but it also has a little bit of new. It also has a hint of Prometheus, but for the right reason. There's an awful lot of familiarity here, some callbacks. I don't agree with some people. There aren't too many callbacks. There was moments of pure joy, for lack of a better way to say things. Now I'm going to change positions. So here's what happens in the film. I'm not spoiling it. It's that good. There are moments in here where you are breathing with the characters. There are moments where they employ their brain over anything else. There are moments when you feel what the characters are feeling. And let me tell you, the two prime actors are something special. In fact, this crew kind of worked out really well, despite what a lot of people will say about, well, maybe a little bit of casting, the committee by the rules, so to speak. There are so many opportunities in this film for them to get it wrong, and they absolutely got it right. I enjoyed everything, start to finish. The opening segment was a little bit long, and so I've heard that a few times, and I would have to agree. There is a issue here with getting started, but once you're in 15 minutes into the first act, you will feel like you understand the world you're in, what these people have to deal with, and why they are headed for this derelict ship, which turns out to be a space station. There's a lot of deep dynamic lore at play here, so if you've watched any of Mr. H's videos, you kind of will begin to understand this world in a better way. There are moments where the pace was perfect, and there are moments when it's slow, mostly at the beginning. The bonus part of the third act could have been there or not been there, because either way, there was going to be a satisfying finish to this particular adventure. And I have to tell you, some of the dynamics and the things that were done in here to make the synthetics feel more real and sympathetic, those were moments that I truly, truly enjoyed. The overall practical effects were impressive, incredible, and I don't know how they did them all, especially on the budget that they had for this film. The story is well done. There's not a lot of unnecessary here, unless you consider the last 10 minutes of the film to be, again, extra or superfluous. But I think both points could have had satisfying endings, and I think the audience would have forgiven it. Like I said, the acting was top-notch, which I wouldn't expect in a horror film. And of course, direction, cinematography, and everything else you expect from Fede Alvarez was absolutely present. If anybody could honor the first two films, it was certainly Fede. Now, let's talk about a couple of down things. In this film, you would have expected a lot more weaponry, or at least I would have, because, well, that's what made the first two films great. And what they did to make it so there wasn't a lot of gunplay was made sure you understood that essentially these things, when they bleed, they eat through the metal, which means you're inches from death. That's not good. Now, there's also some psychology that fixes into this as well with the alien creatures themselves and how they think. They know full well that if they start spilling their blood all over the place, there'll be explosive decompression and everybody dies. So there's some elements there as well. The midpoint switch, whatever you want to call it, that got thrown on the synthetic was fascinating, and the correction was equally fascinating. There is so much to this film, you have to go and see it for yourself. Now, I've waited long enough to give you the ratings, and this is important because there is some subtlety here. Lately, when I see a good film, I haven't been giving it excellent marks. I've been giving it, well, slightly above average marks. This film is no exception. When you look at it on a 1 to 10 scale, this film truly only is an 8. I almost said 7.5, but I think it is an 8. And the reason I say that is for good reason. There isn't there isn't anything that knocks you over completely. There isn't an aha moment. There are lots of jump scares, but there isn't that moment where your buy-in is 100%. And it's probably because you've seen a lot of these before, and most of them have been something you could disengage from. So that puts the star rating at a 4. And 4 is better than anything that you're getting right now. It's just an absolute improvement across the board. And frankly, it's as good as it needs to be. 4 out of 5 stars, better than average. Pretty good horror film. Unbelievably inexpensive for a horror film of that quality. And I think we're on the right path, as long as Noah Hawley doesn't screw it up with the TV show, which I want to remind you is coming. So if you're looking for a film to go see that you haven't seen multiple times already, and you like decent horror films, this one might be for you. If you're not a big Alien fan, I'm not sure I would buy into this one, because that's a waste of your money and your time. Wait till something spectacular shows up. In fact, only give Disney money when you absolutely have to. Oh, and frankly, this is a 20th Century Fox film, which they call 20th Century Studios now, because Disney's a jerk. But it really does a neat thing at the very beginning of the film with the 20th Century Studios logo, which I really enjoyed. Once again, I applause to the aesthetics, applause to the camera work, applause to the cast, applause to the story, but frankly, outside of, a few moments of tense music and some quality jump scares, this is an above average horror film. Again, 8 out of 10, 4 out of 5 stars, might be worth your money. Otherwise, if you are a little hesitant, wait till it comes out on streaming, because there's a good chance you'll see it in less than a month. On that note, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, see ya.